minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It's a Thursday, and as usual, we will have fun today. You know that I can do it alone. I've done it alone twice this week on the air, but I'd rather not. I'd rather when my good friends stop by, and in mere seconds, you're going to hear from Kevin the Medium. I'm just chuckling. I'm tickled. And in a second, you're going to hear why. Kevin already knows. And Mo Egger is coming up in hour 2 from ESPN Cincinnati, which, by the way, Mo has said in previous incarnations, howdy, Mo has said being WKRP comes up every single day in his life, being on the radio in Cincinnati. And I get that. So we're going to talk some Super Bowl, some Belichick, some NFL with Mo Egger coming up in hour 2. But hey, Kevin the Medium is here. He speaks to dead people. That's why we get along. How you doing, Kev?
Did you just call yourself dead? Am I actually, Rod's really not here? This is a seance?
This is a hologram. Yes, it is. Okay, we're going to get right down to business with the quick 6 show topics. And everybody, you're going to love it because we got NHL, NFL, NHL Outdoor, CFL, Nathan Rourke, Super Bowl 60 matchup, all kinds of things coming down the pipe. But Kevin's New Year's resolution was to stay positive. I'm not sure whether you've been able to do that or not, but I'm going to help you with that, Kev, by saying we're going to look ahead, not behind. 6 Canadian teams are in action tonight on the NHL slate. Montreal entertains league-leading Colorado. The Winnipeg Jets visit Tampa Bay. Calgary is in Minnesota. Edmonton entertains San Jose. The Leafs are at Seattle, and Vancouver hosts Anaheim among a 15-game docket. Here in Florida, the Lightning are home to the Jets, as I mentioned. The Florida Panthers are on the road to the Blues. Kevin the Medium said this morning, can we please not talk about the Canucks? And you were serious about that, weren't you? Yeah, you're wearing it. You're still a fan, but it's bad, huh?
It's gone beyond bad. It's just brutal. It's how many times can you say? And I actually interviewed Harman Dial of The Athletic, and I'm like, I feel bad for you guys who have to talk about this every day. It's like, how many different ways can you say our team sucks?
You invent ways. I feel bad for the people in the markets in Canada, where all they talk about is the NHL team. And you know what I'm talking about. The Flames in Calgary, the Leafs in Toronto, the Canucks in Vancouver. They don't talk about the other teams anymore. They used to. The Lions used to get big coverage on CKNW. And just so you know, we do have a request into Nathan Work to join the program. He just signed it, and that's coming up in our Quick Six Show topics. Kev wanted to talk about that. But I got a couple of things. Number one, I did my Cats and Bolts podcast yesterday, and Trevor Harris joined us, not the quarterback from the CFL. He's from WQAM Sports Radio here in Miami. And he said, Kev, and I'm just going to throw this to you and all the viewers because we're anchored out of Toronto television. I'm not sure it's in Toronto, Game Plus TV. That's where the head office is, which is national television, as you know, in 33 states. But Trevor Harris said, the Leafs being bad is bad for the NHL.
Ooh.
And when he said that, I was like, huh? I never really thought about that. And so there's some offshoots on that. And again, here's me catching you off guard. I didn't tell you, but you can handle it. You're a smart guy. Do you go along with that?
No, I mean, and I guess if you're a Leafs fan, it is. And I guess there's Leafs fans across both U.S. and Canada. But how is that bad for the NHL? Yeah, it's a huge market, but just like Canuck fans, we're still going to watch. A Leaf fan is still going to watch a Leafs game. They're still going to go to the games. No, I mean, they've been bad for how many years?
Well, if this were ESPN, and forget any of the Canadian network, if it was ESPN, it would be scrolling across the bottom. Is the Leafs being bad for the NHL? But I mean, they're not. I don't think they're saying that in Canada. They're sure the hell aren't saying it here. But the caveat on this is, because I made that into a meme and I posted it in places. And the funniest thing is, Trevor's like 30, Kev. Man, you have a son that age, right? Or a little older. And it's just like, you just want to pat him on the head and go, oh, grasshopper. You don't understand.
You're so cute.
The Leafs were horrible in the 70s, in the 80s, and largely the 2000s. Like, no, they haven't always been bad. Like just this morning on NHL radio, Gord Stellick's like, they're going to miss the playoffs. Well, who knows whether they will, but they've been in the playoffs for a long run. 11 years, 12 years. Like, that's not historically bad. That's not Canucks bad. But that actually would have been a good poll question today, but I think we have a better one coming up, which is in our second point here. But it's just like, no, is it bad for the NFL that the Giants and the Jets suck? No, everybody laughs at them, just like everybody laughs at the Leafs and the media chasing their tails and all. It's funny. It's entertaining as hell. It's not bad for the NHL. It's not bad at all. Now, having said that, I'll say the playoffs are better when the Leafs are in them, but even that's different. It was great with Ron and Don, Hockey Night in Canada from Toronto, Don Cherry down by ice level. Yes. But we're not in that era anymore. Have you noticed?
I remember watching that, and I could, as you said, Don Cherry at ice level and the crowd just going crazy around him. Whether you're a Leafs fan or not, that just got your blood flowing. But I mean, to say that it's bad for the NHL, no, I disagree.
Well, I said again, he's just young. He didn't know any better. And we have to forgive people for that. And I feel like, it would be nice if they learned. But furthermore, it's like me. We're creatures of habit, especially those of our age. And it's like I get up Sunday morning, make a pot of coffee, and I'm all excited to watch NFL Countdown. And then somebody said the other day, it's not as good as it used to be. And I'm like, dagnabbit, you're right. It's not. Chris Carter, come on, man. Or Tom Jackson or Ron Jaworski. It's not as good as it. We're sucked into thinking that it's as good as it used to be. It ain't. So I'm starting to think I'm just going to stay in bed Sunday morning.
Ooh, that's sad. You got to get out of bed. You got to keep watching it. It's just different. It's not worse. It's not better. It's just different.
Fair. Here's me being the Debbie Downer and you being the positive guy. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, number one, coming back in the next segment, we're going to talk about Bill Belichick because of interesting developments in the last 24 to 36 hours since he was snubbed by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But also the NHL radio this morning, my guys, we're talking about actual playoff pairings that they started today. And here are some of the tantalizing ones. Red Wings Sabres. Vegas, Utah, Minnesota, Dallas, the Battle of the Stars, Edmonton, Anaheim. There's some juicy ones. It's like, can we just stop the schedule now and get into these playoff series? Because there's some good ones. So hang on. We have a lot of things to get to. We'll be right back. Kevin the Medium is with us from the Hughes Sports Podcast. A little later on, Mo Egger. This is Game Plus Television.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Welcome back, everybody. By the way, the text line is open for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge, where the deals are real and the service is legendary. Kev, I was looking for some breaking news for the sports update. I just want all of our Toronto and Leaf fan viewers to mull this over. I'll get into this more once Kevin adjourns, but this came out this morning. The Blue Jays' run to Game 7 of the World Series helped Rogers Communications double their media revenue during the company's most recent quarter, and it says 2026 could mark another big year for its growing sports portfolio. Oh, yay! Rogers is making more money, and the Blue Jays. And the story that I read is hinting that they're going to buy out everybody else of the MLSE deal, and Rogers would become the sole owners of the Leafs, the Raptors, whoever's under the Argos, Toronto. They would own every sports team in Toronto and every venue, so the Toronto people can sink their teeth in on that, because I want to move on to something that I care far more about. Point 2, Kev. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft said he was shocked by reports that Bill Belichick will not be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. ESPN reported Tuesday Belichick failed to get the required 40 of 50 votes from the selection panel. Former Patriots quarterback Tom Brady called the decision completely ridiculous. That was on Seattle radio. I heard Jimmy Johnson is out of control. Jimmy Johnson tweeted that the voters who didn't put Belichick in are assholes. That's a Jimmy Johnson quote. Kev, I don't know how much this has reached Canada. I'm sitting down here in South Florida, which is where Jimmy Johnson lives. It's all I'm hearing. Our poll question has to do with this, and before I reveal that, I'll just get what your take is on the Belichick thing as the football fan that you are, because you're football first.
Yes. Well, it was interesting. When I first heard it, I was like, well, he cheated. I mean, there was Spygate. There was, what was it? The inflate gate, I'll call it.
Deflate gate, the opposite.
Deflate gate, yeah. Yes. I thought, well, no, he doesn't deserve to go in because he's a cheater. But if you've kind of been paying attention, the Pro Football Hall of Fame came out with a statement saying, you can't count any of that. It's just on-field performance. So did any of that affect his on-field performance? Well, kind of. I mean, you go back to when he was stealing plays. That was on-field, was it not? The deflate gate on-field. So I'm mixed. I go like, I'm like, but he did win, 333 games. How many Super Bowls? 6 as a coach, 2 as a player.
6 as a head coach, 2 as an assistant. 8 in all, but yeah.
8 in all. So, I mean, if he doesn't deserve it, who does?
Well, that's one of the narratives. There are like 3 in this being right now early running for the biggest story of the year. We're only 29 days into the new year, so I'm hoping there's something bigger than this. But Jeremy writes in, he's a Red Wings fan. He says, everyone cheated. He just got ratted out by his old coordinator who went to the New York Jets. Carlos in Indiana writes in, he says, every year someone gets snubbed from the Hall of Fame. Many of the snubs wait longer than they should have. John Ohm writes in, he says, RP show, I just woke up. I dreamt about it, Rod, the Blue Jays winning the World Series. Park it, John. But thank you. We're on the Belichick right now. So I'm sitting here thinking about this, Kev, and you and I did have the benefit of a pre-show call. We should do this every time that we're on because it's helped a lot. We went over this. What we're seeing here is that Belichick is hated. Okay? Like, let's just walk it back a little more. Yeah, but by almost everybody. Okay? Like, I always talk about Mike Florio on NBC Sports Radio. I love listening to him every single morning. And he said, listen, there were 10 coaching openings in this hiring cycle in the NFL since the season, and Belichick's name hasn't come up for one. Not one. Okay, so there's that. Right. Nobody wants to hire this guy. Nobody wants to talk to this guy. So I'm going to take you down another little road here, Kev. The narrative's kind of flipping, and this isn't even from Florio. I saw this in USA Today. Hall of Fame snub turns Belichick into a sympathetic figure. No, it hasn't. To who? Do you feel bad for Bill because he got snubbed in his first? No, I don't either. So, yeah. But see what I'm saying, though? There's like multiple narratives here. But back to the cheating thing. I'm sorry, Kev, because this is what you and I talked about this morning.
Yes.
He was nailed for it on multiple occasions. So the media doesn't like him. So that's why they didn't vote for him. And the coaches all hate him. And they say Bill Polian, I don't know if he's the chairman of the committee or what, but he competed against him for years with the Bills and the Colts and couldn't beat him. So he's trying to keep him out. But he cheated and he won. And so years later, it's only been out of the league 3 years. And people are saying, let's forget it. He won 8 Super Bowls. Who cares that he cheated? And that's the scary story. Sorry, I'll put down. Go ahead.
It is. And I mean, in this day, in this time, fans, I still consider myself a fan, we want to win. And at what cost are we willing to accept to win? Do we accept stealing plays? Do we accept all the other stuff that happened during his tenure? And we can close an eye to it and say, yeah, we still won. So yeah, he deserves it. And again, I'm really conflicted about it because he is probably one of the greatest coaches in our time if you look at his record. Take away everything else. If you just look at his record, he's probably one of the greatest coaches of our time. Does that alone get him in?
Well, apparently not.
Right?
And you got to kind of hear the Brady clip because I heard it on Seattle. And to paraphrase, Brady is like, I don't even like the guy, but he deserves to be in. Like all these years later, they don't get along. And I don't think at this stage of the game, they're ever going to get along. Vancouver Eric writes in, he says, why does it have to be a popularity contest to get into the Hall of Fame? Well, it does now, which thank you for that. It brings up our poll question today for EMJ Marketing, from impactful speakers to strategic marketing. EMJ Marketing is your all-in-one solution. Visit them at emjmarketing.com. Should the voting process be changed for the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And the last that I looked, 91% of respondents are saying, yeah, it needs to be changed. So I'm not sure, because you said, Kev, you're not following this as much as other things. But I mean, I'm on it. I can't. It's on every radio station, every TV show, every time I open my phone, it's everywhere here. And so the Pro Football Hall of Fame issued a statement and basically said, we will conduct a review of the voting process here. And if we see anybody, if anybody conducted themselves nefariously, they will have their voting privileges revoked, which is probably a good thing. But my question, so you're going to review this, and we know that 10 of 50, if not more, voters have said, we didn't vote for him because we think he's a prick. Is that wrong?
But
they're entitled to an opinion.
Do they actually put the reason? Do they say they vote for who they want in? They don't vote for who they don't want in. So unless they're making the 10 or 11 people who didn't vote him in, unless they're making a public statement, there's always controversy on who gets into the Hall of Fame. And again, where do we draw the line? We have friends of this show and friends of the Hughes Sports Podcast. AB3, should he be in the CFL Hall of Fame? He sued the league. That's all he did. He didn't cheat.
Arlen Bruce. Yeah.
Yes.
Arlen Bruce.
So
yeah, exactly. Well,
where does that line go? That line, it's blurred.
Do not inject logic and common sense into this, Kevin, because it has no place in sports. Because just as you say that, when we walk behind the little cardboard thing when we're voting in the box at the school, in the gym, they don't say why. Why are you voting for Trudeau? Why are you voting for Jason Kinney? You don't have to say that.
No. And why should you have to? Maybe we should have to, because then we could actually put logic into it.
Well, then we would have no wars on social media. So if we explained it there, John Ohm says, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Belichick's mantra. Sure, John, but until you are on the other end of that, i.e. other NFL teams or media that he's treated like junk. Like, for instance, Tony in Cochrane, Alberta, writes in and says, you reap what you sow. He was an arsehole, and now he's being treated as such. It's mic drop from Tony in Cochrane, right? Well, so I go ahead.
It goes to that careful who you're pissing off on your way up, because you're going to deal with them on your way back down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and by the way, Tony, I love this. Literally, stop the presses. Tony sent an email out to all of his football friends, Tony in Cochrane, Alberta, announcing that he is renouncing his fandom of the Cleveland Browns. Because, I'm only casually following what's going on in Cleveland because, frankly, it's like the Canucks. It's so ugly. I don't want any part of the negativity. But it sounds like, from what I hear, the owner, again, Jimmy Haslam, overruled everybody that was who wanted to hire whomever for head coach and hired his own guy. And now the players are mad. The GM's mad. Everybody's mad. And Tony's like, I'm done. I'm out. And I love the fact that you announced it via a news release, Tony, that you're renouncing your fandom for the Cleveland Browns. And I will say that. Let me know how that goes. Because Kevin's never renounced his fandom for the Vancouver Canucks or the BC Lions, but I have for multiple teams. And it's not as hard as you think. What do you think about that? That Tony, breaking news, Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, has renounced his fandom of the Cleveland. He's a free agent now.
I think the Cleveland Browns might have got wind of this, and they're heartbroken, Tony. They're going to reach out to you, and they're going to plead with you to come back. They might even pay you as a fan.
What do we got here? Brent in the Bridge City writes in and says, Belichick will probably get in eventually anyway. He's won a crap load. I'm no fan. No, but that's what Jimmy Johnson said yesterday, and you weren't on with me, Kev, but he was on the radio here in South Florida yesterday saying, hey, this is how they think. And he's 100% right because I've voted for I've been on Hall of Fame committees, voted. I've been on the CFL awards, WHL awards, whatever. And I'm being asked to be on the NHL voting. I'm not sure whether I'm going to or not because of things like this. But Jimmy Johnson said, the guys think, hey, he's going to get in anyways, but I don't like him, so it's no. And he said, and too many guys voted that way, and that's why he's not getting in. They just thought they would be the only one. You know what I mean? Does that explain it, Kev?
Oh, yes. All you got to do is you can look anywhere and see that happening, whether that be in politics or sports, is you go, it's a private vote. Nobody knows what I'm doing. I don't like him. So no, he's not coming in mine. All of a sudden you got 12 people doing that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap.
Big Earn impression upcoming. Big Earn impression. Didn't I tell you we were going to have big fun today? And we are. Rich in Edmonton writes in. He says, I'm seriously considering renouncing my Raiders fandom. I still can't do it. And if I haven't done it by now, I probably never will. This is a personal choice. I'm just suggesting it's an option. And Vancouver Eric writes in and he says, what happened to team loyalty? Whoa. I was talking to a young family here in South Florida about their son was given a NIL opportunity with another school, enter the transfer portal and go. And they called me and said, what do you think? And, well, we're loyal to I said, why wouldn't you go? The money's unbelievable. Well, we're loyal. Whoa. I said, that word does not exist in sports anymore.
No.
And that's kind of, what Tori does. Gurley is a consultant. For whatever reason they called me. They were just soliciting opinions. But I said, if you're worried about leaving your old school, because you get that out of your head. Because they would drop you in a New York minute. And we've seen it. And it was, that's just the way that it is. Sorry to tell you, there's no Santa Claus. We'll be right back. We're just getting rolling. It's the RP Show, and we're live across Canada and 33 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events.
That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
We love our sponsors here on the RP Show. We invite you to do the same. Like, for instance, whether it's pizza, ribs, or authentic Greek favorites, check out the Mad Greek Eatery in Moose Jaw tonight, open until 11 p.m. The Warriors are home Friday night to Edmonton. They're at Regina Saturday. Hit up the Mad Greek before or after the game. And, of course, our picks are brought to you by the Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon. Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Great place for Super Bowl watching, which, by the way, Kevin, the medium, is going to be with us for Football Friday tomorrow. There will be a lot more football talk there. There will be in this segment, too, but I just want to, we're only on point 3 of the quick 6. Kev, you're going to get a kick out of this. All I hear about is the Canadian weather from everybody, and I get it. It's cold. Everybody acts like they're surprised every winter when it's cold in Canada. Point 3, yeah, I know. Sunday here, however, this is breaking news. Sunday in Florida will be the coldest air in 16 years in Florida, and certainly the coldest since I've been here, which is 5 years. From what I can see, Kev, with wind chill -2 Celsius. That's like 22 to 24 Fahrenheit. Yeah. On Sunday, that's the outdoor game. Tampa Bay Lightning, Boston Bruins. I'm going to be there with Brent from Wellington, Florida. Cats and Bolts podcast, this show. And I just want to get... They have no idea how to deal with this. For instance, I got an email from Florida Power and Light. That's the company that keeps the lights on. They said, here's what you do. Buy warm blankets. Buy warm clothes. And if that doesn't work, go purchase a space heater and turn it on in small space. But don't forget to turn it off. And I'm like, I learned this when I was 5. And this morning in the gym, I wouldn't even know where to go to get one. I don't even know where I would go to get one. It's so cold. How cold is it, Rod? I had to put the windows in my Jeep coming home from the Panther game the other night. This is BS. I didn't come here for this. Yeah, but I will say this. This guy this morning in the gym, he's like, you going to Tampa? And I said, yeah. He goes, it was going to be like 22. But that's with the wind chill. And I'm like, bro, wind chill or not, that's how it feels, okay? It's -30, but -50 with the wind chill. Well, then it's -50.
Yes.
We're used to this, right? Yeah. It's -50. I don't give a rat's ass what the thermometer says, okay? It's how it feels. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be great for the ice making, and I'm getting a kick out of it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's kind of fitting that it will be -2 in Tampa for that outdoor game because the ice will stay frozen. Go figure.
It'll be
You
great
won't have
ice.
puddles.
Yeah, and I was thinking of this. Okay, everybody, Kev's from Vancouver, where we've had a lot of Regina Pats come through my past life from the Vancouver area, Lower Mainland, that have never skated outside, never skated on a pond, never skated on outdoor ice. I learned to skate outdoors on a dugout with my dad and my 2 older brothers. That's where I learned to skate, and I was 3. So I'm enjoying the stories of the outdoor hockey and the outdoors. It's awesome, man. It makes me so happy to be able to do it here in Florida. Have you ever skated outside, Kevin? If so, do you have any stories on it?
I have. I mean, I'm not a big ice skater because, again, growing up in Vancouver, we didn't learn to skate. It wasn't a thing. But since I've been I moved out to Calgary in 2002. So, yeah, I've been to outdoor rinks. It's just something special about that outdoor rink. You got the fire pit on the side. It's just kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm very much excited. Thank you, National Hockey League. Oh, they've been so good to me in this show, and I appreciate that. We have questions and comments have come in from the audience. I'm going to push those to the next segment because time with Kev is limited. Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast. We're going to the CFL here. Far more time on this tomorrow, but here, the BC Lions have locked up their star quarterback, signing Nathan Rourke to an extension through the 2028 season. The team announced the move with Lions GM Ryan Rigmaiden saying in a statement that Rourke is the best player in the league and the face of the CFL. Meanwhile, Ottawa Redblacks released American returner Devontae Dedmon. He was scheduled to become a free agent next month. Dedmon was the CFL's top special teams player in 2021. And I have thoughts on AJ Ouellette because I'll say this to Rider fans. Don't DM me or PM me. I know you used to be able to do that when I was the voice of the team and I would answer you. That was 7 freaking years ago. So if you want to talk about Rider news, you can write in here over the course of 1 hour a day, this one, and we'll talk about it. And I'll give my thoughts on AJ, but I'm not writing you back. Don't DM me. I'm not doing it. No.
Not happening.
So before we get to that, Kev, Nathan Rourke. Have you come down from the ceiling yet that he's extended? The Holy Child has extended in BC?
I'm not surprised he was extended. Was I excited? Of course I'm excited. He'll be a BC Lion for his career, I'm sure. Now, having said that, it is the CFL and players move around quite easily. It's good. I'd like to see his contract. I'd love to know. I just hope one day they start releasing these things because how great it would be to be able to talk about, hey, he's the highest paid player in the CFL. Like, what's his bonuses? What does he have to do to make those bonuses? Show it to us. Give us something to talk about CFL.
I thought you were going to be positive, Kev. Listen.
That was positive.
You were going great, and then you brought that up. Okay, here's the thing. There's the people arguing for transparency of contracts. I don't care. I don't. For a variety of reasons. Like, I've been covering the league since 91, a fan of the league since the 80s. And I was talking to a former GM a while back, and he was a GM in the 90s. He's not anymore, but I was just talking about the shadiness of the CFL, the shadiness. I.e., Nathan signs for this amount when he comes back from the NFL, and then remarkably and we also gave him, $250,000 in marketing money. What the hell is that? And, it makes it very hard I've never heard of marketing money, and it makes it hard to cover the league for the reasons you just said. We'd like to talk about that, but we can't because we don't know who's getting money from where or what. I don't care. Nathan Rourke.
Can I get some of this marketing money? Because we market this league probably more than anybody else. So come on, bring it in.
You can't, man. Just tell us pee on our head. Tell us it's raining and we'll just lap it up. And everything's great. And on the AJ Ouellette thing, the fans that are writing me, God bless them. I love them. I was there for a long time. I'm not there anymore. But I'm watching this and going, okay, so AJ Ouellette, Thor, the long-haired, built like a brick outhouse running back for Saskatchewan, who led the league in carries last year, is going to be a free agent. And you have to understand, Kev's now living in Saskatchewan. You're starting to understand. It's like Alabama football. When everybody told me that, I didn't realize it until I got out Yeah, it's like Alabama football. There's nothing else. That's all they talk about every day, all day, year round.
Yep.
Which is great. But as I did an event with Mark Mueller on the microphone last month in Lanigan, Saskatchewan, Mark Mueller said, every team on the Grey Cup winning Rough Riders from 2025 deserves the chance to come back. That would include AJ Ouellette. Okay? So the guy is just being a good businessman, going to free agency if he's allowed to get that far to see what he can get out there. Why wouldn't you? Anybody would. And then there's the other Saskatchewan thing. His girlfriend's from Moose Jaw. They see him around there. They love him, and he loves Sask. It's not that he doesn't love. They all are so butthurt that he would. Why wouldn't you re-sign with us? Well, because he might make a little more money somewhere else. That's what it is, Kip.
It's literally insane to me that someone will say, no, he's set where he is. His girlfriend's got a good job. Blah. No, you're going to go out and try to find them. Football careers are very, very short. You've got to make it the most you can. So, Ouellette, I'm just going to put it out there in the world. BC is a beautiful place to live. You've got the water.
That's tampering. We're not in the pre-free agency window yet. So you just watch yourself. Okay, I don't need the show getting fined. Hey?
Can I also say Ouellette was probably one of the nicest guys to interview of all the people I interviewed besides Nathan Rourke. Ouellette was probably one of the nicest guys to interview when we were at the Grey Cup last year. Amazing man. I would love to see him in BC.
They're all great guys. Nice guys run the Kinsman Club. You never had the great fortune of meeting John Frenzy. He would have some thoughts on this. I'm just saying, the guy's going to go to market, which is his right. Don't be butthurt about it. That's the way everybody, the Rider fans are like Dolphin fans, Leaf fans. That's what they are. I was one, okay? I'm not denigrating anybody. Why wouldn't you want to play here? Because maybe some people don't.
Because it doesn't have water like BC. I mean, look at it. You got the beautiful BC coast. You can swim.
Give them free camping. Give them free camping for life. Put that in there. Okay. Thanks, Kev. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
See you tomorrow.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Hour one of the RP Show is brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications, where creativity is a way of life, specializing in strategic communications, leadership training, and clear conversational content that motivates your audience. Speaking of audiences, I love you people. You guys have really brought it today. For those that have joined us late, what have we been talking about? Bill Belichick and the Hall of Fame snub. Outdoor hockey going to be played in Tampa Bay. It's going to be -2 Celsius on Sunday, and people are losing their ever-picking minds. So we're talking about outdoor hockey memories. So those are some of the things here. And Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, who is a tremendous gentleman. I love him. He announced via news release to his football buddies, of which I'm humbled to have been included in the email, he's renouncing his fandom of the Cleveland Browns. I love the fact he did it via a news release. Anyways, Tony writes in, he says, I believe loyalty goes both ways, and the 2.0 Browns have been nothing but a gong show since the Haslams took over. Not sorry it's over. Glad it happened. Nice drop. Mic drop. LOL. Well, and further to that, Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, I want to tell you something about myself in a second. Jeremy says, fans can change teams. Hell, players get traded. And free agent signings, they always change jerseys. So why can't fans do it? We're starting something here today. And this is the thing. Some people in my life have wondered why I have changed teams so many times. And the thing was, growing up as a kid, my dad worked for a different team every 2 years. That was in his junior hockey days. First Calgary, then Prince Albert, then Regina, then Brandon. Then he got hired by the Minnesota North Stars, who moved to Dallas in 95. He spent 26 years with that team. But I had all these jerseys, had all these tracksuits. It's the way I grew up. So it's called non-attachment. It's a thing. On the Belichick thing, and why did he get snubbed? Was it because of his cheating history? Was it because he treated the media like crap? Was it a confluence of a bunch of things, which is probably what the answer is? That same Jeremy, Red Wings fan, writes in, he says, just trying to think. The Patriots won Super Bowls in 01, 03, 04, and didn't get busted with Spygate until 06. But yet their last Super Bowl was 04, so really he didn't cheat to win a Super Bowl. Yes, no? It's a little thing called statute of limitations. That's all. That's all. So think about something else. Or keep thinking about it, but I'm not. Outdoor hockey memories says we're going to be playing it in Tampa Bay on Sunday. And I learned to skate outdoors, which is cool, when I was 3. Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, great memories of playing at the outdoor rink with A.J. Jakubic at the Braeside Outdoor Rink in beautiful St. Albert, Alberta. Rob in Las Vegas writes in, and he says, I froze my feet countless times playing hockey outdoors growing up in Winnipeg. It's funny because there's something about when you're kids, you don't feel it, right? You don't feel it. As you get older, you really do. Right? Just a kid thing, I think. And that's why all these stadiums now are being built domes in the U.S. was telling somebody the other day in Sask, we couldn't afford a dome, or we would have had. We could have afforded to build it. We couldn't afford to maintain it. That was why it's an open air stadium there. Thank you, John from Edmonton, for this. He says, Rod, the Saskatchewan Roughriders fans think they're all that and a bag of chips. They also think they're the number one team in Canada. Oh, no, you're not. You guys like to complain about everything. As I get ready to move on, thankfully, I'll say this, John, let it land. Usually when people talk a bunch of noise about somebody else, they're subconsciously talking about themselves. Think about it. Sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone. I know that from my other career. Live it every day. The Toronto Blue Jays' run to Game 7 of the World Series helped Rogers Communications double their media revenue during the company's most recent quarter, and it says 2026 could mark another big year for its growing sports portfolio, because we always love when big conglomerates announce that they've made billions instead of the millions they thought they would. The Toronto-based cable and wireless company credited record Blue Jays television audiences and packed Rogers Center attendances last fall as its net income grew. But this is the part I wanted to ask you all about. The Blue Jays weren't the only source of growth within Rogers' sports portfolio last quarter. It also attributed strong results to increased revenue from Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment after Rogers closed a $4.7 billion deal with rival BCE Incorporated, that's Bell, right, to buy their 37.5% stake in the sports conglomerate halfway through the year. Normally, I like to keep it on the ice and the field and the diamond. Obviously, you guys watch this show every day, but this is significant. And I'm, again, landing the plane here. Hang on. The acquisition made Rogers the majority owner of MLSE, which owns the Maple Leafs, Raptors, Argonauts, Toronto FC of MLS, and the AHL Toronto Marlies. Rogers holds an option allowing to buy out the remaining 25% of MLSE, owned by Larry Tannenbaum, by July of this year. Rogers communications officials saying today Rogers plans to do so, which will give them full ownership of the company. Can I just say something, by the way? We're on a rival network from Rogers. We're over here on Anthem Sports and Entertainment, but I have no issues with Rogers at all. I've had a Rogers cellular phone for, 15 years. It's never gone up. It's $24.21 every month. I see all the bitching. I got no issues with Rogers. I used to work for them. Well, did they own Sportsnet? I believe they did when I worked for them. Who cares? You get your check. I just don't like the idea of one company owning every team in town. But we largely see that in Calgary. It happens. Rogers making more money. Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, he says, Toronto sports is so screwed. Again, I don't know. I had a very long chat on the phone a while back, like within the last 10 days to 2 weeks, with a Canadian sports executive, and just about how it all works. Up there, just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. There's less jobs. I don't like it. But I live in Florida, so it doesn't really matter what I think. 902, I don't got to worry about it, is the point. 902-518-3033 on all of these topics. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hey, Rod, Steve Simmons from the Toronto Sun says, stick a fork in the Leafs. They're done. Everybody's saying that. It's so bloody exhausting. What are you going to do if they magically turn it around? What's everybody going to do if and when they do? It is bloody exhausting. Bob is watching. Hey, Rod, morning from the Gas City. That's Medicine Hat, the home of Terry Clark. I had a conversation with a guy from my hometown a couple of years ago. Let's call him Ski. He says, rumor has it that you had a fling with Terry Clark back in the day. Is that true? I said, I wish. Spread that one around to everybody. No, but as far as you know, yes. Anyways, Bob from Medicine Hat says, I have eaten at the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw. It's the best. Have a great day. Well, of course, it's the best. They sponsor this show. They go through 6 gallons of the Greek sauce every day, maybe more once they've started partnering with this show. Yeah, the Mad Greek. Check it out if you're in Moose Jaw. Vintage Sasko writes in on the Belichick thing, 902-518-3033. He says, hey, Rod Father and Full House Hughes, as the poker champ. Kevin's not with us anymore, but he was. He goes, it's kind of whack that O.J. Simpson is still in the Hall of Fame and Uncle Bill Belichick ain't. Glove didn't fit, I guess. I was talking with my counselor, Rand, last night. Not that we were in a session or anything. We were in a meeting together, but I just said, yeah, sometimes the world and people get me annoyed. And he goes, why do you allow them to get you annoyed? And I said, because it's my job. Not you, Vintage Sasko, or any of the aforementioned audience that I said 20 minutes ago, I love you all. Just the fact that we're all trying to make sense of things that will never make sense. That an accused murderer is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and O.J. Simpson, yet Bill Belichick can't get in and has 8 Super Bowls. You need to stop thinking about it. Or keep thinking about it and frustrating the hell out of you. Boy, we didn't get to a lot of the things that I wanted to. However, we will. We have another hour to do that. So thank you, God and Bob and Medicine Hat, for that. Because Jeff the Stamps fan says, what? Oh, I see. You're going back and forth with Tony. Tony, who has renounced his fandom of the Cleveland Browns and is announcing he's taking his talents to Houston, which, by the way, I fully endorse. Houston is a wonderful city. Check out the Galleria downtown. Great road trips. I think when you're picking a favorite team, where it is should go into that. I mean, with the Cowboys, it's a great place to go watch games. That is my team. I'm not renouncing my fandom for the Cowboys, but I have lovingly detached from the Dallas Cowboys, meaning I'll still follow what you're doing. I won't allow your actions to affect my mood. I mean, that's another way to do things. But renouncing your fandom? Tony, how's it feel? How does it feel to no longer be a fan of the Browns? Because you announced it via news release. You can't go back now. Just so you know. I admire the hell out of it. I just want to tell you what goes along with it. Mo Egger is going to be with us from ESPN Cincinnati next hour. Longtime friend of ours. A relationship that started with a fight. Usually my relationships end with a fight. This one started with a fight, and now we're great friends. Mo Egger coming up. Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Well, it's just going to be fantastic. Hour 2 of the RP Show. We welcome the Nevada viewers on Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. And we roll along on Game Plus TV across Canada and 33 states, including California. Big night for hockey fans in all of those states. Coming up this hour and today, Mo Egger will be our guest from ESPN Cincinnati. As I was saying earlier, our relationships started with a fight. Most of my relationships end with a fight. But Mo and I became great friends. He is from ESPN, as I said, ESPN 1530 Cincinnati, the voice of the Bengals. And he was, when they changed their jerseys, what was it now? 6-7 years ago. I was on this show saying, oh, great, Bengals changing their jersey scheme because they're crappy and they just did it to distract their fans. It's what all crappy teams do. Mo took issue with that, ripped me apart on his show. And instead of us getting in a fight, I called him up and said, hey, you want to come on my show? He's like, what? Yeah, let's talk. And the Bengals ended up in the Super Bowl. We met there personally and have been tight ever since. And I love talking football with Mo Egger. He's coming up next segment. He's a great guy. And I guess that's all you need to know. Let's get down to business. We're going to look ahead, not back, because it's a very busy night in the National Hockey League tonight. 6 Canadian teams are in action. Montreal entertains league-leading Colorado. The Winnipeg Jets visit the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Calgary Flames are at Minnesota. The Oilers entertain San Jose. The Toronto Maple Leafs are at Seattle. And Vancouver hosts Anaheim. As I mentioned, here in Florida, where we host this show so gratefully every day, the Lightning welcome the Jets. And the Panthers were on the road to St. Louis. So last hour, we had Kevin the Medium with us from the Hughes Sports Podcast, and he's a Vancouver Canucks guy. He was even wearing Canucks gear, but he didn't want to talk about the Canucks. I said, perfect. Nor do I. We want to keep it positive. But the boys on NHL radio this morning had a really fun thing. And it's like, if we all talk about this in sports, right? If the playoffs started today, which they don't, but if they did, these would be your playoff pairings in round 1. In a lot of ways, they're new. Some aren't, but Tampa Bay, Boston is not only a great one, but those two teams are meeting Sunday in the outdoor game, the Stadium Series game in Tampa Bay, where it's going to be -2 Celsius. You heard that right. They're predicting snow for Tampa Bay, and we're going to be there. I can handle it, but no Floridians can, and it's hilarious to see them all chasing their tails on this. Anyways, the Lightning and the Bruins are the 2 hottest teams in the calendar year, in the NHL. Don't at me saying the Sabres are. This is from NHL Game Notes. But what a series that would be. So we got a playoff preview potentially at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. But that Sunday is the game that they could meet. That's the way they're lining up. And God willing, they will. Carolina, Montreal. Didn't they just meet Carolina, Montreal? So, but still, that's exciting for those two fan bases. Detroit, Buffalo. Oh, my God. Who would Dominic Hasek cheer for in that matchup? Oh, the possibilities are endless of a Red Wings Sabres playoff series. Pittsburgh and the New York Islanders. Hello. The long written for dead Pittsburgh Penguins having home ice against the resurging New York Islanders, who have won last night, and Andre Palat scored in his Islanders debut. So that's juicy. Colorado and anybody, it'd be fantastic. But San Jose looks like they're finally going to make the playoffs after years in the wilderness with the game's second most exciting young player. There, I said it, Macklin Celebrini. And then, oh my God, Vegas, Utah? For reals? I did talk to Bill Foley, for you Nevada folks, way back in the day when they were just getting the franchise going in Vegas, and he said that they wanted a geographic rivalry with Arizona, and unfortunately the Coyotes dropped the ball on that. Vegas was good. They held up their end of the bargain, but the Coyotes never did. But now Utah's a wagon, and they're lining up in the first round of the playoffs. And I'll tell you what breeds a rivalry better than nothing breeds a rivalry better than playoff wars. Because trust me, I'm straddling this Lightning Panthers thing like I'm riding a skateboard or surfing or water skiing, because they hate each other. The Panthers and the Lightning hate each other. The fans now hate each other. And I'm doing a show on both teams trying to play referee and not pick a side. But it's great. We're averaging 6,000 views an episode on that thing. Higher than ever. So that's great. Unfortunately, Tampa and Florida are not tracking towards colliding in the first round. By the way, wonderful move by Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick to talk about this morning. I've been not stopped thinking about it since Minnesota-Dallas. What more needs to be said about that? Stars, for those that don't know. For the young grasshoppers, which there are, that don't know, I forget this. Dallas Stars moved in, was it 93 or 95? Somebody, can you look that up? Either way, they moved in the early to mid-90s. My dad was working for the team. You'd think I'd know, but I was working in the industry at the other time in another league, not really paying attention. But anyways, yeah, that's the history of Minnesota-Dallas. And then Edmonton-Anaheim is the other, and Edmonton and anybody's exciting, but it's nice to see the Ducks back and actually relevant for the first time. So it's like, can we just pause the playoffs, this regular season now? Let's stop it. Let's just go play playoffs. Yeah, we still have a half a season to go, so a lot of things could change. But when I say the young grasshoppers, yesterday on the Cats and Bolts podcast, I had Trevor Harris with me. He's become a great friend. He's from WQAM Miami, All Sports Radio, and he reached out to me a couple of years ago, and he's like, hey, I'm originally from Connecticut, and there's not a lot of hockey guys down here, and I see that you are one, so do you want to be friends? And I'm like, I'd love to. And we've become good friends. So he's on the podcast yesterday, and he says that the Leafs being bad is bad for the NHL. Wonderful hot take, completely incorrect. But I'll let it slide because he's young. But we put that out onto social media, see what the reaction was, and no, nobody agreed with it. And the reactions were fantastic. People were like, they were bad for 40 years, and the NHL survived. So they did. Everybody's writing them off now. Steve Simmons is writing them off. Gordy Stellick. These are the two biggest Leaf fans ever in the media are writing off the Leafs making the playoffs. So it's just the world's ending because the Leafs aren't going to make the playoffs. But for young people that don't know any different, this used to happen all the time. Next. It's not hurting the NFL at all. I don't think that the Giants and the Jets are terrible in New York, right? I don't believe that it is. But again, we accept all opinions here. On that show, this show, opinions make the world go around. And if you can't accept other people's opinion, you got to use the door. Because, homie, don't play that game. I need to just pause this for a second to tell you all. John in Edmonton says this, writes in, and he says, Rod, in my opinion, an outdoor hockey game in the NHL should be played in a winter city, not a hot climate like Miami, Tampa Bay, or California. Well, thank God, John, that you're not the commissioner. Sorry to say, but nobody asked. I think the biggest breaking news is a news release that I released last night. I received last night in my inbox. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, has renounced his fandom of the Cleveland Browns. He's been watching this show every day for years. I've actually been encouraging him to consider it, because I see you're in so much pain, and I don't like to see people struggling. I just don't. It's an annoying trait of mine. And he finally took the plunge after there's dumpster fires, and there's grease fires, and then there's whatever the Cleveland Browns are. They're next level 5-alarm fire in Cleveland. And I'm casually following what's going on there because, again, I'm trying to keep things positive, and it's the opposite of positive there. But we hired the new head coach, Todd Monken. We don't even know who he is. Apparently the GM wanted to hire somebody else. Everybody wanted to hire somebody else, but the owner stepped in like he always does, said, hire that guy. And that caused Jim Schwartz, the DC, to quit, and it's just a disaster. Tony's like, I'm done. And he did it in the form of a news release, which I respect the hell out of. Sent it to all his football buddies, including me. So thank you, Tony. And we've kind of been having fun with that. Dan's watching in Winnipeg, and he says, hey, Rod, can Winnipeg Jets make the wild card this year? You know the answer to that, Dan. Mathematically, yes. And if you talk to any sports person, they will say, as long as we got a chance, there's a chance, and they're right. So you know the answer to your question. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes, and he says, I don't believe Tony will really do it. No. He has to. He sent it out in the form of a news release. I'm sorry, you can't go back. It's all right to say, but similar to those CFL rules, I don't think the Canadian Football League commissioner expected the backlash that he's received since announcing the rule changes. It's bad, the reaction, but they're not going to walk him back. I mean, they have a little bit on the 35-second play clock, but I don't see how they can walk back the elimination of the 55-yard line, moving the goal post, because guys like that, not just Stuart Johnston, the commissioner, but also the owners, don't say, you know what, we were wrong. They just don't do that. Point 2 of the Quick Six show topics. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft said he was shocked by reports that Bill Belichick will not be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. 36 hours after this broke, we all know why. He didn't get enough votes. Former Patriots quarterback Tom Brady called the decision completely ridiculous. I heard the clip of Brady on Seattle radio, and to paraphrase, he said, I don't even like the guy, and I think he needs to go in. He should, of course, he's good. So through all of this, again, there's something to be said for pausing and thinking. It's, hey, listen, don't call me a hypocrite, other than to say I never used to, but I do now, and it works really great. Maybe we shouldn't rush to judgment. Maybe we shouldn't, pitchfork and torch these. Hang on a sec. Belichick not getting in, because I've enjoyed the narrative, whether it be from Jimmy Johnson, who has taken this upon it like a personal cross to bear. Jimmy Johnson, so he's like, I'm in the Hall of Fame, and Belichick's a better coach than me. What the hell's going on? And Troy Aikman, who's in the Hall of Fame, and as you all know, Troy's my guy. He said it's a sad day for the Hall of Fame. Is it? Before I go any further, I will tell you the poll question today for EMJ Marketing Elite Speakers Bureau. Transform your audience with powerful presentations from an EMJ Marketing keynote speaker. Check out their website for more information, emjmarketing.com. Should the Pro Football Hall of Fame change their voting process in light of the Belichick snub? 91% of you saying yes, they should. And they sent out a statement yesterday. Again, this is all just incredibly interesting. Saying we will review how this happened. And if we see any wrongdoing, nefarious activities, we will change the process. But the thing is, you now know I've been on Hall of Fame voting committees, award, year-end award, all that. I'm not on hardly any anymore because of stuff like this. So what are you going to do? You're going to call up every voter and say, why didn't you vote for him? Which I'm not sure you can even do that. We talked about this last hour. When we go to a vote for government, we go around the corner behind the little cardboard box and check the name. We don't say why. So if Belichick didn't get in, which, by the way, Mo Egger will have thoughts on this. He's been covering Belichick for years at ESPN Cincinnati. Is it because of the cheating scandals? Because what we're learning over the last 36 hours is how hated Bill Belichick is in NFL circles. Florio said it this morning on Pro Football Talk or NBC Sports Radio. 10 coaching vacancies in the NFL this offseason. Not one has Belichick been linked to. He's hated. That's by the football guys. And then you got the media guys voting on this. Clearly they hate him too. So is this really wrong? Is it really wrong what's happened here? I don't know the guy. I'm, again, not rushing to judgment. I'm not going to say whether he's a jerk or not. I've never met him. Doesn't seem real nice, but the media can portray you that way. So maybe he's getting a little bit of his own comeuppance for the cheating scandals, for the way he's treated people. So maybe he deserves it. Maybe it's all right. Did you ever think of that? Maybe this is all a karma thing. Yeah. The other thing I read in the USA Today is them saying this has made Belichick a sympathetic figure across the U.S. and football. No. I don't. Maybe you think that. I don't. We're only at point 3 of the quick 6 show topics. I will morph one of these topics in with our chat with Mo. Basically, how do we feel about this Super Bowl matchup? It's not that scintillating. There, I said it. But point 3 is Sunday will mark the coldest air in 16 years in Florida. And everybody is going off on it here. But we're going to play an outdoor hockey game in Tampa Bay. And that's why I put on Twitter this morning that God is an NHL fan. It's going to be below 0 Celsius, like -2, 22 Fahrenheit. They're predicting snow Saturday night and Sunday morning in the Tampa area. To see the way the Florida people are dealing with it, it is one of the funniest things I've seen in a very long time. They're losing it here. They don't know what to do. Frankly, I'm loving it. And we were asking your outdoor skating stories. I learned to skate outside. So I can't wait to get to Tampa Bay for the game. And I also can't wait to chat with Mo Egger from ESPN Radio Cincinnati. He's joining us next. We're live across Nevada now on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and, of course, across Canada and 33 U.S. states on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
The RP Show continues on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across Nevada and, of course, Game Plus TV across Canada. And it's our daily request to have you sign up for the Rod Squad newsletter. How about that? Where is Mo? Okay, I'm getting it. I see what you're saying, Producer Corey. We're seeing the Mo Egger show, but we're not seeing Mo. Okay, hang on. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. They bring you the Rod Squad newsletter. Hang on. You're going to have to bear with me to the audience. And trust me, we've done this. Oh, there he is. He's flipping the light on. He's sitting down, and we were ready to go on the air. What did you say, Producer Corey? The realest show on television. Real is one way for it. I was just about. He's going to put his headphones on. We're live, Mo. We're live.
Can
Mo.
you hear
We're
me?
live,
Can you
Mo.
hear
Don't
me?
swear. And now I can't hear you. Hang on.
Oh.
Yeah. Producer Corey saying this is why we wanted to do a test. Does he need to hit refresh? What does he need to do? Give me a 1, 2, 3, Mo. Okay. Can you guys communicate? 902-518-3033 is the text line. And we'll get this all sorted out. I don't know if you want to flip over to the RP show screen. Okay, cool. Because you wonderful viewers have texted in with your thoughts on a variety of things. Darcy's watching in Grand Prairie. He writes in regarding the Bill Belichick snub, which is obviously the burning question that I have for Mo Egger, if and when he's able to join us at a Cincinnati ESPN radio. Darcy says, regarding the voting, were they using Dominion machines to count the votes? Rubbing chin emoji. I know where you're going with that. I snapped on somebody the other day. Yeah, we got you now, Mo. I snapped on somebody the other day about bringing politics into this. So we're not going to do that today. So hang on. We can hear Mo, and in seconds, we're going to be able to see Mo. Kenny's watching in Vancouver on Game Plus TV. He writes in, he says, good day, Rod. I can't wait to see the pictures on Facebook that you post when you were at the Winter Classic in Tampa. I will ignore all the negative comments, and I just appreciate you posting pictures. Those were fantastic pictures from the Winter Classic last game. Have a great day.
One.
Thank you, Kenny.
All right.
Guys, I can hear Mo. If we can flip the switch over, we're ready to go. There he is. We got you. We're live, and Mo is here. Ta-da.
Rod,
that is a grand
I think I'm sorry. I think I screwed up because I thought I was coming on at 125, and then I think you said actually it's going to be 115, but I still had on my phone 125.
Well, here we are. That's a grand entrance if I ever saw one.
Just got yelled at by your producer who's like, we do this at the same time every day, pal. So here we go. Made everybody mad at me. What's up? What's up, Rob? Let's do it. What do you want to talk about? Yeah.
Mo, Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Go.
I think we should no longer consider the Hall of Fame to be important. I think what we have done, and when I say we, I include myself as sports fans, we've made these museums out to be a bigger deal than they are. We've attached a level of mythology to museums that have gift shops, that have bronze busts and bronze plaque. We've made these institutions out to be a bigger deal than they are. Now, we had here in Cincinnati, the great Dave Parker made the Hall of Fame after a very long wait. Dave played for the Cincinnati Reds, the Pittsburgh Pirates, a bunch of other teams from Cincinnati. He had Parkinson's disease. I was thrilled for him personally and for his family that he found out he was going to make the Hall of Fame before he passed. Ken Anderson's on the ballot, Bengals quarterback, who I think is deserving of being in Canton. I want the honor for him and for his family because I know what it would mean. But I don't need the Hall of Fame or a bunch of Hall of Fame voters to tell me how great Bill Belichick was. The 6 Super Bowls as a head coach happened. The 8 Super Bowls as a head coach and an assistant coach happened. We're not taking them away. So the cool thing is in sports, we have scoreboards, we have results, we have standings, we have championships, we have hard, concrete accomplishment that I don't need the Hall of Fame to validate. I was there for Bill Belichick's reign in New England. I know what it meant to the league. I know how dominant it was. I know how influential he's been. I know what he accomplished. I don't need 80% of Hall of Fame voters to tell me that. I think what we have done, and I can apply this to baseball as well. You have this little museum in Cooperstown, New York, a place that most people will never visit. Joey Votto, right? One of my all-time favorite players. One of the greatest Canadian athletes ever. I think should be a Hall of Famer. I don't need baseball writers to tell me how great he was. I don't need baseball writers to tell me what he accomplished. I don't need him to have a plaque in a museum in Cooperstown, New York, a museum that has a sandwich shop and a bookstore. I don't need him to have a plaque for my opinion to be validated. And so I think what we should do is stop attaching that much importance to Halls of Fame.
Bravo.
Was that worth waiting for? Was that worth waiting for?
Seeing you was worth waiting for. That was the cherry on top. But hey Mo, let me say this.
Yeah.
How did this happen? And because I've heard 87 ways how it could have, but I want to hear yours.
Well, I don't love painting with a broad brush because we're talking about at least 11 people who didn't vote for him. Now, let's say this is a serious election, right? Let's say this is 2 politicians. Let's say it's for the mayor of Cincinnati. We just had a mayoral election last fall. If 100,000 people vote for candidate A instead of candidate B, those 100,000 people didn't all vote for candidate A for the exact same reason. Some people it was they simply hated the opponent. For some people it was, well, I like this guy's stance on education or cleaning up the roads or taxes or whatever it is. Everybody applies their own criteria. And so my guess is you probably had a voter who just said, you know what, I'm going to ding him for the scandals. I'm going to ding him for Spygate. I wouldn't have, because I'm a body of work guy. Bill Belichick was a Hall of Famer before Spygate. Bill Belichick, by the time Spygate became a thing, already had 5 Super Bowl rings, 2 with the Giants as a coordinator, 3 as a head coach. The Deflategate thing was a nothing burger. By the time Deflategate happened, Bill Belichick was a Hall of Famer. But I'm sure you will find a voter who said, I'm dinging him because of Spygate. Human beings being what they are, it wouldn't be surprising to find out that a voter said, you know what? Bill Belichick was a jerk. Maybe he was a jerk to me. He was prickly, and I'm going to hold that against him. Again, I think that's a dumb reason to not vote for somebody, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out that somebody applied that criteria. I'm sure Not sure, but I'd be willing to bet you had someone who said, you know what, we haven't had a unanimous coach get in since Shula. I just don't believe in putting a coach in on the first ballot. That's how I believe. Doesn't matter what they've accomplished. Again, I think that point of view is idiotic, but it wouldn't be surprising to find somebody who said that. And, you know, as is the case with the gentleman in Kansas City who wrote a column, which I appreciate the transparency. His basic take was, look, you've got folks who have been waiting for a long time. I wanted to put L.C. Greenwood in and Roger Craig and Ken Anderson. I wanted to give them their turn because they've been waiting forever. Bill Belichick's only going to have to wait one more year. That is an indictment on the Hall of Fame protocols and the rules and the structure, and that's up for an entirely different discussion. Again, I don't know how you could look at a coach who's accomplished what Bill Belichick has and vote for anybody ahead of him. So I don't know that there's one explanation for all of this because we're talking about multiple people who chose to not vote for him. What I do wish we had was a level of transparency. And hey, if you want to have a vote, awesome, but you're going to have to share with the class why you voted, who you voted for, and be willing to explain your ballot. I wish there was a little bit more of that. If we're going to care about Halls of Fames more than we actually should.
Well, they're threatening to do that. I'd love to see how they're going to carry that out. But you nailed it all, Mo. You should be in radio. You nailed it all.
Well, usually in radio, you have to be on time, and obviously I'm not good at that. But like, what I hate about Baseball Hall of Fame voting is there's a character clause, right? I don't think baseball writers are qualified to tell us who the best people are, but there's a character clause. And so you could say, I'm not voting for Kurt Schilling, for instance, because I think he was a bad guy. Again, I don't think there should be a character clause. I think with regards to football, there's no character clause. There's nothing that says judge these men by the kind of human beings they were. And so I think the Hall of Fame stance is like, hey, if you applied criteria that you're not supposed to, maybe your vote and whether you should have one should be subject to review.
Well, I'm getting the sense that, and this kind of underscores the theory that Bill Belichick is hated in the NFL, and this kind of proves it. You've been covering the NFL for a long time. Is there something to that?
I'm sure, but like, but they're going to put Robert Kraft in. Like, he owned the team.
He's not hated.
Right? I mean,
he's not hated.
I'm sure there's some degree of punishment by personality. Look, David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame. David Ortiz should be in the Hall of Fame. David Ortiz is one of the great postseason performers ever. I'm talking about baseball. I think the evidence connecting him to PEDs is flimsy, but I think there are folks who voted for him because he's warm and fuzzy, he's Big Papi, who maybe didn't vote for Barry Bonds. And the two men are not apples to apples in terms of their PED connection. But I'm sure there are people who said about Barry Bonds, okay, the PED thing is there, but he was a jerk and he was standoffish and he might have been mean to me in a clubhouse one day. And so I at the end of the day, you are dealing with human beings. And so they're going to apply their own criteria. And I'm sure for some, it's, I'm going to punish you for what your personality was or is. I just don't think that should be the criteria. I don't understand anybody who doesn't just look at the accomplishment, the statistics, the relevance to the game, their importance to the game. If we're going to go back to the idea that Halls of Fame are supposed to illustrate a sports history, how do you tell the history of the NFL without spending a lot of time on Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots? And if you're going to undo that because you simply don't like the guy or you resent his success, I think you're voting from the wrong perspective. And that's as plainly as I could put it. I think you're voting from an incorrect and way off base perspective.
Sometimes it takes train wrecks like this for institutions, people, whatever, to look at themselves. So
yes.
We'll see.
Sure.
Carlos in Indiana writes in and he says, we have the hot take of the week. Which one? Mo just spit out like 7. John in Winnipeg says, Mo knows. Man, he knows his stuff. Again, that's why we have him on the air. That's why he has a show. Now, I've been meaning to talk about this all day, is the Super Bowl 60 matchup. I haven't even talked about it yet, so I will with you. Seattle, New England.
By the way, there it is. Says sorry, 115 typo. So now it is on me. Now I am late. So go ahead.
You're good. You're good. Do you like the matchup? Because I'll tell you why I say it. I walked into the gym this morning, and at the LA Fitness, they had like Seahawks and Patriots and balloons and banners and stuff. And the guy behind the counter, I said, "Oh, you're pumped up for Super Bowl?" He's like, "No, they just put it up." He's like, "Go see Patriots. Who cares?" Of course, this is South Florida, but yeah, he didn't care.
Here's the question, though. Okay, so is he still going to watch the game? Yes.
I'm going to ask him
still
that.
going to, yes, he's still going to like. This is not the first time we've gone through this. I think we went through this for a lot of the end of the Patriots run with Brady and Belichick. You know, oh, I'm tired of the Patriots. Cool. What are you going to do on Super Bowl Sunday? Oh, I'm going to watch the game. Well, does it matter if you're tired of it if you're not going to watch? Like I hear these conversations about college sports in the U.S., Rod, where it's but college football is being ruined. I don't like what's going on in college football with the transfer portal and how much players can just jump from one school to the other. Okay, you still going to watch the national championship game? Oh, yeah. You still going to watch your favorite team play every Saturday? Oh, yeah. Don't tell me something's ruined if people still consume it. So, yeah, is it a sexy matchup? No, it's Sam Darnold versus Drake May. Most people don't know about Drake May. Most people, frankly, don't know a ton about Sam Darnold. Most people don't know a ton about the key players on these teams. Jackson Smith and Jigba is a tremendous player, but it, performs in relative anonymity. And so there is going to have to be some, there's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Travis Kelce. There's not that. Doesn't mean it can't be a great game. But if you're rolling your eyes going, you know what, not a lot about this game excites me. Okay, cool. You could say that the Thursday before the week of the game. A week from Sunday, you will be in front of your television watching. And at the end of the day, that's all the NFL, and it's CBS that has the game this year. That's all they care about. And that's all that really matters. You can say you're tired of it, but you're still going to watch.
I like it. Another great take. But I mean, Denver and anybody would have been a lot more exciting given Sean Payton, I think, and Bo Nix. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. The Sean Payton thing, just, nobody's won multiple Super Bowls with different teams. I don't think that's happened. And so, him aiming for history and him, he has lost, including in the AFC Championship game this year, so many just gut punch playoff games. But like the Broncos won a title 10 years ago. I mean, it's not like they're a newbie.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, were awesome in the mid 2010s, playing in consecutive Super Bowls. Hell, it had it been the Rams. We're talking about a team that just won it a few seasons ago. I don't think it's necessarily the teams. There's a lack of star power. Like there's not like a face of the league type. Had it been Josh Allen, it would have been that's a star, right? Joe Burrow here in Cincinnati, like that's one of the faces of the league. It lacks that, but the Super Bowl can also create stars, can create characters, and I promise you, if Drake May has a great Super Bowl, or if Sam Darnold has a great Super Bowl, or somebody emerges in that game as, kind of the breakout star, we'll see and hear a lot from them. And I also think it's interesting from this perspective, just a basic fan perspective. Can you think of a luckier fan base? Because, all right, Patriots fans get basically 2 decades of Brady and Belichick. Brady leaves, the Patriots stop being good, Belichick leaves, and it's like, oh, thank God. All right, fine. Now they're going to have to go through pain and misery like the rest of us. Well, not for long. So here they are. So, like, what a lucky fan base that now it feels like, boy, they've got another really good coach who I think coached that game against Denver like Bill Belichick would, and a guy in Drake May who, he has not performed well so far here in the postseason, despite the fact that his team has won. But he certainly looks like he has a bright future in front of him. And so, with the waning of the Kansas City Chiefs and the Patriots dynasty going away, I'm not sure there's a hated team right now. Maybe the Patriots can turn back into one because of the luck, the pure, blind, dumb luck of their fans.
Yeah, you can't even deny you got to say it's Robert Kraft. But consider this, Mo. It's been 5 years that I've been in South Florida. So I'm surrounded by 2 things, Dolphins fans and New Yorkers. So it's nonstop whining about the Patriots because they're AFC East people going, how did they do this so fast? Yeah. Yet we're mired in mediocrity and suckiness every year. They're pissed off about it. But anyways, we have a minute with you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll give Robert Kraft credit because they hired Gerard Mayo, who was a Patriots legend, to be the head coach, and they got out in front of it and said, "This isn't working. We're going to go hire somebody who's better, who's available," and they did. And I think there's a lot of franchises that would not have done that.
Most don't. Oh, Raiders, Browns. Look who's picking high in the draft. Jets
every year.
Even the Giants. Yeah, and then the Giants went, John Harbaugh, go get him. I want him. Go get him. And they got him. No.
I feel like
none of this parade.
I feel like every time you invite me on, something bad happens on my end. Like there's a bad internet connection, or I show up late, or I look like I haven't showered. So I owe you like a proper appearance where there are no technical hiccups. Your producers aren't freaking out. So my apologies to you. My apologies to your audience. My apologies to your I feel like every time you have me on, at the end of it, I'm like,
and now he gets cut off. We love you, Mo. We'll be right back. Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. For whatever reason, the sports updates are a little light today. I feel like it's all about tonight's games, 15 games in the NHL. There's no NFL this week, right? The Super Bowl 60 game will be played a week from Sunday. So we'll get to the picks in a second. Gives me a little more time to go back and forth with you, the viewers. Rich in Edmonton writes in and he says, technical issues can be overcome when a guest brings it like that. Well, there really were no tech issues. I initially gave Mo the wrong time by a simple typo. I said 1:25 Eastern. It was actually 1:15 Eastern. So there was a little miscommunication there. But whatever, we get over, it's heat of the moment thing. But I'll say this about Mo. Rich, if you maybe weren't watching way back when he and I became friends, I made that comment about the Bengals. He got mad, ripped the hell out of me on his radio show. And somebody sent it to me, and I said, hey, why don't you come on? Let's talk about it. And he couldn't believe that I would do that. But I mean, I'm used to being yelled at, called out. I don't care. And then like a couple of years later, we end up at the Super Bowl together. And we had the biggest time, literally ripping around LA, going to Bengals stuff. He came down and came on the show live. We did the show live from Super Bowl in LA, and we've just been real good friends since. There ain't nothing that I would do that would piss him off, nor vice versa. That's the kind of friends you need to have. And he's a radio great out of Cincinnati. From the text line, 902-518-3033, Tony writes in and says, hey, Rod, very cool for a guy from Saskatchewan to like a guy from Cincinnati. Great opening soliloquy about the Hall of Fame. Thank you. Signed, Tony from Saskatoon. Are you seeing the theme here? Let's all come together. Like I say, there's a lot of people out there trying to tear everybody apart. I don't like it. That's just not me. Wayne in BC writes in, he says, I have a question. Is O.J. Simpson still in the NFL Hall of Fame? Yeah. I think I was mentioned earlier on I can't remember how the show's been a bit of a blur that way. Not necessarily in a bad way. Former Kansas City Chief receiver Arlen Bruce is watching, and a two-time Grey Cup champion. He writes in, he says, great show as always. I got a good one for my fans and friends in Canada. How can you tell Canadian students are so smart? They get lots of A's. A. Let's go. Thank you, AB. He's come with the good stuff today. And by the way, I hope one day that they screw their heads on straight and figure out this Hall of Fame thing, because I'm not really ready to let go the debate yet. Arlen wrote in earlier in the show and said they should have different colored blazers for which ballot they get. First ballot gets a gold blazer. Second ballot gets a navy blazer. Third ballot gets a red blazer, which I'm okay with that. I mean, Deion Sanders really got tongues wagging a few years ago when he said that they need to tighten up the restrictions to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, they've really botched this. They have incredibly botched this when you don't allow Bill Belichick into the Hall of Fame for whatever the reason is. Good God, it's provided enough fodder, but there are Hall of Fames now that I don't even pay attention to anymore that they've screwed them up so bad. But I'm not going to name them. And I don't know what the proper way to go about it is. You know, I would say the Canadian Football Hall of Fame's largely been getting it right. This last induction class was unbelievable. I couldn't have picked them better than myself. But they don't, from what I understand, don't have a committee anymore. And trust me, I got a lot of good friends on the inside there. The CFL head office decides who's going in the Hall of Fame every year. You. Rough Riders Plaza of Honor is the same. But I don't like that. That's too much absolute power. Power corrupts. That's why I'm throwing it to the Canadian viewers about Rogers doubling their quarterly revenue from last year thanks to the Blue Jays. So now they're going to go buy the remaining stake of the other stakeholders in MLSE, Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment. I think it's terrible. But again, that's just me. It's allowed us to be over here doing our thing, and it works just fine. See what I'm saying? If the NFL just sat back and said, oh, Belichick, you get in, you do, you don't, but it just opens itself up to, well, petty politics and grudges, which is really what the world is full of. But we'll see if this changes or not. NHL picks coming up on a very busy night, and final segment with you. Hey, Tony. We'll be back. You're watching the RP Show on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across Nevada and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, quite a show today, hadn't it been? We're brought to you in overtime by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. That's what they like to say. I call it an amusement park for hockey players. 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. Check it out for yourself, and you can thank me later. NHL picks. Let's do that right now. Colorado at Montreal tonight. Avalanche, they'll get on the snide and win tonight at Montreal. Islanders at Rangers. It's the Rangers. Part of a 15-game slate. Anybody want to tell me who the teams are, the two teams that aren't playing? Because I don't know. Nashville at New Jersey. Predators will win. Utah at Carolina. Canes will win. The Chicago Blackhawks at the Pittsburgh Penguins. What a wonderful matchup there. It'll be the Penguins. They're in a playoff spot right now. Philadelphia at Boston. Bruins. They and Tampa, the hottest teams in the calendar year. The Winnipeg Jets at Tampa Bay. Sorry, Winnipeg. Hashtag go Bolts. LA Kings at Buffalo. I got to go with the Sabres. Washington Capitals at Detroit. I'm out on the Capitals. Sorry, Washington. You've cost me too much money. Not that I actually bet, but I'm always wrong when I pick you to win. Not tonight. Go Wings. Calgary Flames at the Minnesota Wild. Sorry, Flames. Minnesota wins that one. Florida at St. Louis. Blues in an upset. Bob's not playing tonight. Just found out. San Jose at Edmonton. Ooh. Not a playoff preview, but 2 playoff teams as it stands today. I'm thinking Oilers. Toronto Maple Leafs at Seattle. The Leafs, a dumpster fire. Let's go with the Kraken. Let's get Kraken. Anaheim at Vancouver. As the betting guy said the other day, Dusty, Canucks to lose is easy money. Quack, quack. Picking Anaheim. And Dallas at Vegas. Ooh, that would be the game of the night. I think I should be a poll on our Instagram. What is the game of the night? This would be one. And I think Vegas is going to win at home. First game back from a road trip. Teams used to suck on the first game back from a road trip. Now they always win it. Another example of how things have changed. You know, it's funny. Tony from Cochrane, which I love. Have I told you? How many times have I said today, Tony? Via news release to his football friends, of which I'm one, sends out a news release that he has renounced his football fandom for the Cleveland Browns. Went on to announce that he will now be a fan of the Houston Texans. That was fast. But Tony writes in, he says, Bill Belichick should get Terrell Owens to make him a jacket. I don't know what the implication is there or the inference, but it's funny. And I had to look up real fast because I was a fan of T.O. He is in the Hall of Fame. He went through several snubs. But as they say, eventually they all get in. Didn't say the class here, but he did go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If I dug a little further, I could find it. Oh, here it is. Class of 2018, Terrell Owens went. There's been a lot of talk about Terrell Owens over the last couple of days since the Belichick thing came up. And I will only say this for those of us that might have been known as being a live wire back in the day. Terrell Owens never charged with a crime. He might have acted goofy and held a news conference in his driveway while he was doing sit-ups. But he was never charged with a crime. Nor was I. We just like to have fun. We're goofy. You know, and that's when they say they eventually get in. Theron Fleury is still not in. And I sure hope that the Hockey Hall of Fame voters come to their senses one day. Because quite frankly, as long as he's not in, I have a very tough time supporting that. That's all I will say. Dan in Winnipeg writes in and he says, Rod, who do you think will win the Winter Classic in Winnipeg? I'm going to take the Jets. How about that? Hey, Jeremy writes in and says, Michael Irvin is in the Hall of Fame. The playmaker. Right? The greatest Hall of Fame induction speech of all time. Get up, show up, and don't ever give up. Number 88. You would have thought there are some guys that just, you can't deny the Football Hall of Fame. The one thing here with Belichick is I got to go with Jimmy Johnson. Like, this is the one thing about the old white guys. You know, they get a lot of grief for being old and white. It's not their fault. I am one. But guys like Jimmy Johnson know their stuff. And Jimmy's right. Jimmy must be on a voting committee of something because he got it. And I've been on voting committees, many. Jimmy said, what these guys are thinking, I'll say it again. I've said it like 5 times over the last 2 days. Guy's sitting there about to make his vote. And he's like, yeah, he's going to get in, but I don't like him. Or that's in this case, let's say he cheated, to win all those Super. So I'm not voting for him. And too many guys did that. And that's how we got in this bind. So maybe I will just say this counterpoint. Maybe it's not completely inappropriate if Belichick did cheat more than everybody. He was the best cheater out of everybody, and that's why he won, because that's at least as big a part of the story as Belichick was a jerk to the media, which a lot of them are that are voting on this. It's probably both. So maybe he's getting what he deserves. Has anybody thought of that? And part of this, I keep mentioning the USA Today. I mean, I read it all the time, but it ticks me off. But they're saying this whole thing has turned Belichick into a sympathetic figure. I'm like, speak for yourself. Oh, to put a footnote on that, Tony says the T.O. bought and made his own Hall of Fame jacket. He wore it on Monday Night Football. Okay, I don't recall that, but thank you for the memory. I'm getting old. Yeah, Jeremy says Jimmy is raging on his boat in the Florida Keys. Oh, more stories for... This is what they told me in the Keys first time I went down there. They said, if you ever run into Jimmy, don't ask him about football, but because he won't talk about it, but you can ask him about fishing. You won't be able to shut him up. We'll see you tomorrow for a Football Friday, everybody. Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
That.